What's going on, everybody out there? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, and we have a smoker here tonight, this evening. I got jumped, y'all. I'm getting jumped today, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm not used to this right here. Yo, but let's build. Peace to the God, King of Mathematics is a law 7. Yo, King of Math. You supposed to be on the New Nation of Islam build. You supposed to be on that chat, brother. Oh man, you missed it. Anyway, we're gonna build with the ancient free Moorish Rite. The reason why I want to have this build and I want to continue to build with these brothers is because, first off, I had no idea this existed. I had knowledge for a long time, 30-something years, 30 years. I had knowledge for 30 years, knowledge of self for 30 years. I've never heard of this Ancient Free Moorish Rite. I hear of Ancient Free Moorish Rite through Mikey Fever. Mikey Fever had the brothers on. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't understand it. And then too much for me. Y'all got so I didn't understand it. And then all of a sudden, I just start seeing a bunch of examples, great examples that came out of Ancient Free Moorish Rite. So me, I'm so used to Moorish Science, 5%, this, that. If I hear something that's other than the prophet's teachings or what have you, and it's Moorish, at that time, I was kind of like, what is that? I got confused a little bit, but I'm seeing so many great examples of the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. I'm hearing his name a lot. I'm seeing people that I know a part of this this organization, and then you got my brother Prince Yahoshi in the building. When he said he was a part of it, I was just like, oh man, like okay. And then I see my brother Roy Bey, in pictures. So man, Roy Bey, me and Roy Bey go back probably 15, 17 years or something like that. And I'm honestly, man, I'm excited to hear exactly what's going on. Brother Cyrus is a part of this, and he was talking about classes that you brothers have going on that are very interesting. Very interesting. I've never heard these kind of classes. So I said, hey, let's bring the brother back up and let's continuously build on the Free Moorish Rite. Now, the first question I have for you, let's first off say thank you, brothers, for coming out this evening. I really appreciate you. First off, hope all is well and you're enjoying yourself. Now, my first question is, where did the Moorish Rite come from? Ancient Free Moorish Rite come from? What's the origin, like the date and who started it, etc.?
All right, I'm going to go with this one, and thank you, sir. Just for being on the platform once again. It's great to see you, and as well as my Moorish Rite brethren here. And it's a good feeling, Brother Ron, to be known. To be known, you talked about how you knew nothing about us, and I always say these days that every day the Ancient Free Moorish Rite is going to be new to somebody, because the world is that big and it's that vast. And
Right.
you had explained that you'd been having knowledge of self for 30 years. And 30 years, you come to know about the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. That's a blessing. It's a blessing just hearing you say that. We begin with Dr. Clifford E. Hazel Bey.
Okay.
Who I'm going to assume, with some assurity that you've at least heard about him before, if you don't know everything about him. Dr. Clifford E. Hazel Bey, longtime seasoned Freemason, someone that reached the pinnacle of Masonic status and had been a Freemason for over 40 years. Well, we refer to him, as he referred to himself, as the visionary of the Ancient Free Moorish Rite for this dispensation of time. And so sometime in 1995, he began to put together the footwork for reestablishing and helping to reemerge the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. So I've implied a lot with that word of reestablishment. He began to put together the footwork. He had for years, for over 20 years, been consumed with research about, of course, the Moors and the presence of the Moors in Freemasonry historically, which had generally been obscured. When people would discuss or even know anything about Freemasonry, they always associate it with England, right? As being a European or English phenomenon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal in that it had been around for hundreds of years and surviving as a time-honored fraternal organization. Well, Dr. Hazel tasked himself to the research of unearthing the history of Moors and the Moorish origins and the Moorish impact on what would become known as Freemasonry in the Occident, to Europe. And Dr. Hazel insisted that the Freemasonry was an African phenomenon and not a European one. And that's something too that, with research that the European Masonic scholars and writers, they don't dispute that. They don't dispute that. They do give testimony to it, sometimes albeit in an obscure way. So in 95, Dr. Hazel began, sir, the footwork of putting it together, looking to galvanize the people who would involve themselves, put in the work, tax themselves with standing out front, declaring a Moorish identity within the realm and confines of Freemasonry. So that's what he did. And that is somewhere along the time where I met him. I was a Freemason prior to meeting him. And then meeting him, he would make known to his constituents that reestablishing Moorish Rite, Freemasonry was something that he was endeavoring to do.
Okay.
Right. And so by 2001, we actually had our official inauguration for the reemergence of the Ancient Free Moorish Rite in Newark, New Jersey.
Nice.
Most of the work, especially with Dr. Hazel and his visioning, had been going on. He resided in Maryland, and this is where meetings and the discussions would take place. And so we put in a lot of work, a lot of research. There was a lot of talk, a lot of buzz about it. He put together lodges, right? And I know I'm giving you a lot of stuff to chew on here.
This is great. This is great, brother.
Well, thank you, sir. He put together lodges, and in those lodges, he gave the Freemasons, he gave the membership the liberty to wear or don Moorish garb, right? Moorish attire, as opposed to your traditional Masonic penitentials, which are, the black suits, the black or red tie, and so forth. Well, he allowed his constituents under his Scottish Rite charters to attire in jalabia, fezzes, sashes, and so forth. They were not Moorish Rite lodges, for the Moorish Rite had not yet been reestablished. But you could see that that's what he was doing, right? So he was basically introducing or brandishing the profile of Moorish Rite Freemasonry, right, within the confines of Scottish Rite or mainstream and traditional Freemasonry. So we did that for so many years. We operated under Scottish Rite charters. And then finally, in 2001, he said, okay, we're ready to put this ship on the sea. And we had the press conference in Newark, New Jersey, which was also an inaugural celebration for the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. It was just a fantastic, just a great day that I will never forget. One of those times when you feel like you are a part of the making of history. And so that was just a fantastic venue. And Dr. Hazel made it known. And then he said, which within the Moorish Rite, we canonized these words. He said, the making of Moorish Rite Freemasons is now a concrete reality. And these brethren that you see here, and I apologize. I was trying to get my photo or some image to work here for me. Maybe I'll mess around with it when we take a little break. But the brethren that you see here, you see Moorish Rite Freemasons. You don't see Freemasons parading as Moors, or you don't see Moors parading as Freemasons. But what you have are legitimate Moorish Rite Freemasons, as Dr. Hazel said, that the making of Moorish Rite Freemasons is now a concrete reality. And that was very special. And on that day, I'm throwing this in, on that day, prior to the inaugural event, which took place in the evening, it was such an involved day, we initiated 28 Moorish Rite Freemasons that day.
And this is 1995.
1995, he began his footwork. In
and then 2001,
we finally got it off the ground. We put the ship to sea. So you know how things are, right? The conception generally, starts in a quiet, concealed place. And by the time, these things require work, that. It's difficult enough to start a lodge or to even start a club, regardless of what you're doing, right? Or the work that you brethren put into create and start this venue. There's some work involved. So we're dealing with Freemasonry, and you're dealing with a general Masonic community that was, unwanting of any kind of new Freemasonry. So many people were adamant about, well, you don't need another rite. There are enough rites already, and you certainly don't need a Moorish one, right? So that was the grain, that was the stream that we were up against. And so, things take time. But one thing about Dr. Hazel is that he was meticulous in that way. He was very committed and serious about what he was doing. So he didn't want to just throw things out there. There were times when we could have said, okay, let's go and do it. And I never forget, Dr. Hazel used to always say, if you put your ship on the sea too soon and you're not navigating properly, you'll run into a barge.
Right.
And you will destroy your ship and you will destroy everything on it and the people within it. So he said, we're going to do it and we're going to do it right. We're not just going to rush it and put it out there. So I just love and respect him for that tutelage and for him having the kind of insight, being the visionary that he was. And that's why we have these great brethren that you see here today, sir. So I know that's a lot for a simple question, but brothers can tell you, don't get us started,
Now,
Yes, sir.
so the brother Hazel, that I'm saying his name correctly, right?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay, brother Hazel, he started it and he laid the groundwork in 1995, but then everything started to really take hold in 2001. Now, Newark was where it started, and then Maryland was that 2001?
Yeah, well, Maryland was from 1995 all the way through 2001.
Okay.
That's where a bulk of the work took place, but we had the inaugural ball press conference in Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, in Newark, New
Okay.
Jersey. You're probably familiar with the place over there it's called the Orient Temple. It's on Raymond Boulevard in Newark, New Jersey. That's where we had the historic inauguration and press conference. So we did a lot of work. Work was going on basically in a lot of the states. But Maryland was the hub, and so by the time we were ready to, Doc chose Newark, New Jersey, for that place to announce it and call the press conference to announce it as well.
Okay. Now my question, okay, so obviously brother Hazel, Dr. Hazel definitely knew a lot about masonry before creating this. Now, would you happen to know, or can you tell us what degree of masonry did he reach?
The pinnacle. He was within the realm of Freemasonry and within the degree system. He was a most puissant sovereign grand commander.
Mm,
Right? That was his status. He was beyond the 33rd degree,
wow.
and had achieved 95 and 98 degree status in the Memphis Mizraim. He'd reached the pinnacle, and I cannot disclose all of what it means to be a most puissant sovereign grand commander, but I can but I can say to you that that is pretty much the pinnacle of a Masonic career or Masonic achievement within the Masonic system. So he was at the top. He was at the top of the Masonic pyramid, if you will. Yeah,
I want to say peace to the panel.
40 years or more, devout. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just want to
Now,
say peace
so
to the panel, peace to my brothers. Can you hear me? I'm sorry about that. Can you
Peace,
hear me?
sir, brother Mikey.
Peace,
Brother
brother
Mikey.
Mikey.
Peace to
Yeah,
you,
peace,
sir.
peace. I just want to say peace to the panel, peace to my brother Ron. I couldn't, the panel is like it's a lot going on, so I can't really see what's going on. But I want to say peace to the brothers of the craft, and salute to the history of C. Hazel Bey,
Yes,
Supreme
sir.
Grand Commander. I witnessed brothers within that title at work, man. Very beautiful, very deep. We're gonna leave it at that. Very, very deep though.
Yes, sir.
Profound. Very profound.
Thank you.
All right, now so I wanna so now that we got some basics and ground covered, I mean, I'm gonna just say this, to have this going since 2001 up until this point and grow it this big, he's gotta be a great brother, you know what I mean? Because that right there within itself is a task. You know what I mean? Just to, organize all these different great minds, men, and have them stay together, and no fights, no fight, nobody
No
got
fight.
beat up, no.
Well,
Well,
there were differences. There were. I mean, when you conglomerate people, right, or you congregate people, there are going to be differences, always differences of opinions. However, like Dr. Hazel, if you could get people to focus on what is the ultimate goal, then individuals will surrender that that ego, right? Say, well, let's get the ultimate goal accomplished, and then once that happens, we can start fighting again, maybe. But yeah, so there were, but nothing violent, nothing where people are getting hurt or anything like that. No, it was pretty smooth for the most part, and locating people who were just committed to the goal and who understood that what we were up against. And like you said, brother, when we began with the Ancient Free Moorish Rite, there was a conception that what we were doing was impossible, right? That was the conception, and certainly, not embraced, by the larger Masonic community. So it was like, well, you can't do that, and that can't happen, and you guys won't last, for a few months. You certainly won't last for a year or so. And so that was that. So we felt that we were doing, and we were, what was impossible. And if you look at the Moorish Rite Freemasons today, every day they are doing and continuing in that tradition of what would otherwise seem like it's impossible to do. But here it is, we're doing it. And yeah, Dr. Hazel was indeed a special person. We refer to him as the Avatar.
Got you. Okay. So now, after the 28 men, I would say, or I don't know if it's men and women, the 28 people, they were initiated into this rite. What's the next step once someone's initiated into the Ancient Free Moorish Rite? What happens next? I don't know if you can expound on that.
Great question, and we can. I'll leave that to the brethren. I'll leave that to the floor, just to kind of spread the love a little bit here.
All right. Let's go with anyone want to answer that first? Because okay, Brother Abdullah.
Peace. Thank you. And I say peace to Brother Mikey Fever. How you doing, beloved? Well, once one becomes initiated in the Ancient Free Moorish Rite, they begin their own personal journey, their spiritual journey. We say on the Moorish Rite compass. So this is a divine spiritual order, and it is a order of self-improvement. So that's my short answer to that question.
Okay. I was gonna go. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in, but since I keep seeing Prince Yahoshi in the chat, Prince Yahoshi, this guy's a star, man. I want to hear from the brother Prince Yahoshi. So when you joined, I don't know if you could give us any information without giving us too much. What was the experience like?
Peace, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace to Brother Mikey Fever. I've been studying masonry. I'm part of the Moorish Society, but I've been studying masonry almost in my teen years. So I always seen that it was Western laws. Like, the white Freemasons, they always was bigged up and they're the guy and they have control of a court system and, they're in different backyards. So I was like, nah, I ain't going that route when it comes to masonry. I mean, I'm going to follow my people, the layout of the Moorish society. So when I came in contact with the Moorish rites, I'm like, Moorish rites? Wait a minute, the Moors got something to do with the masonry side? And we ain't coming from the England side, you know, we're the original key holders. We're the biggest secret. The secret is us, the Asiatic ones, you know, the ones the prophet talk about. So
Right.
at the age of 33, you know, enlightenment, even dealing with Yahshua HaMashiach, you know, the light, you cross over to the other side, you're illuminated. I said, well, I'm gonna become a part of the Moorish rites. I'm gonna hop in the waters and see what this is about. You know, if I don't like it, you know, I just step out the waters. So, you know, when I was initiated and I came on board, you know, I can't really go too much details with the rituals. I was embraced by brothers, like real embracement. I mean, a real brotherhood. And you know, I come from the streets, you know, the street organization. So I know what the other world of organization as far as the streets is like when it comes to brotherhood. Nah, man, like you know, you took an oath to make sure your brothers is right and exact, and you got his backs at all times. So when I stepped in the waters with the Moorish rites, I felt like a spiritual connection. It was divine, you know. Now I mean, my brothers embraced me, and you
Mm.
know, it's a school of thoughts that it's a university. However, how far you want to go is up to you. Nobody is going to force you. You know, y'all hear about the 33 and the third, or 23 or the 7. Nobody's going to force you to no degree. If you want that degree, go get it. I
Mm.
mean, use your compass to travel. I mean, you could travel as far as you want. So ones get kind of like you know, I got a lot of backlash. You know, the prophet took the veil off all secret society, but I never seen Noble Drew Ali disregard Freemasonry. He never talked about them being an enemy or anything. You
Mm.
know, so when
That's
I
a good
start
point.
getting into my lessons, it builds me with characteristics. I have to be held accountable. A lot of people don't want to be held accountable to principles of morals. So I have to
Mm.
move a certain way because I'm a Moorish Rite Freemason. So I can't just go out here and wow and X, Y, Z. I'm held to a higher standard, you know, and I know it's divine because even my son pay attention. Daddy, I want to be a sailor like you
Mm.
know. So when my son takes heed and it's changing my family in a positive manner, this is something that the Supreme Navigator put me to be in. So my journey, you know, the waters get kind of rippled here and there. Anytime you join an organization, you know, it's gonna get a little rocky. You're the new guy. They gotta get a feel of you. But, you know, my journey has been a blessing, divine, and you know, I'm growing to be a greater man every day. You know, that's my
Mm.
piece on it, brother.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Peace.
That's peace. That's peace. So now, brother Adir L. Bey, I want to hear from you, brother. You got the merch on, and you know what I mean. You got the merch on. What's that there
Yes,
on
sir.
your necklace?
This here is a picture of our avatar, Dr. Clifford E. Hazel Bey.
Got you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, where are you from, and how
Uh,
did you get into the teachings?
well, I hail from Houston, Texas, and I got into teaching like most of us Moors here. We been into self-study, got into a lot of the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, joined the Moorish Science Temple for a little while, but had always been interested in the science of Freemasonry. And I came across actually through a brother by the name of Dr. Alim, who I hear that you're familiar with.
Yes, sir.
Through his teachings in referring to the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. And once I knew that it was a right for us, um, and a right that was geared around Moorish culture, I had to be a part of it. So at that point, I started doing my research. It took a few years actually, for me to actually go on personal reasons, but one uh, level of self-awareness within myself. Um, Peace.
Peace.
I'm
Peace.
having with my mic here. I do apologize.
It's okay.
But once I reached a level of self-awareness within myself, I went ahead and joined.
Okay. That's peace. Now, I'm glad that you said that. And my last podcast, Son of Man, and things like that. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I was going into doing this podcast, I'm like, we're going to teach the authentic teachings of the prophet, the authentic teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're going to teach the authentic teachings of Allah, and I was like, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like a horse with blinders. But then I thought about it, and I realized in the 5% nation, what we learn is that everyone's entitled to their own see. They're entitled to see things the way they see it. Now, if they're right or wrong, that will be determined in a bill between you and that person. And you could either take it or leave it at that point. And I said to myself, okay, maybe I need to be a bit more open-minded, because everyone's not gonna see things the way you see it and take the same route you feel you should. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So as I'm listening to the brother Adir, I'm like, okay, you went into Moorish Science. Maybe you should have stayed. That my mentality in the past was, maybe you should have stayed there and learned the teachings and maybe stuck. But nah, it didn't resonate with him as the way this did. So he took this path. And I respect everyone's see and their path. And I'm glad that you found something that fits you. Now the next person I want to build with is brother Akhet. Brother, man, I've been hearing brother Akhet's name, man. Like, man, I'm like, oh yeah, the brother Akhet, the brother Akhet. I'm like, man, okay. Because the brother Akhet on social media, he doesn't really say much, right? He's going, he's promoting the brand, he's promoting the thing like that. But I want to learn a little bit more about brother Akhet. So, brother Akhet, I know you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Okay. Now, how did you get?
Before we go any further, Ron, I'm an unofficial member of the Moorish Rite. I remember Kat and I was building about that like 5 years ago. Yeah, I'm an unofficial member. Like, I was supposed to go in, and I'm still gonna do that in my travels. I told I'm gonna hell over to the Moorish Rite right before the year's over, before next year's over.
That's peace. That's peace. Now, brother Akhet, you're originally from Brooklyn. Now, being that you're from Brooklyn, we're the same age. We're the same age, right? So we came up, we saw the 5% nation, we saw the Nuwabians, we saw the Nation of Islam, we saw everything, right? What was your journey like in the 80s and 90s? You know what I'm saying? Like, did you go through the Nuwabians? Did you go through the 5% nation? How did you get to the Ancient Free Moorish Rite?
No, they said we could talk. I got to put my time on, beloved, because I don't want to go on. But first, I want to just, first thank you and Brother Mikey Fever for your hospitality, for having the Ancient Free Moorish Rite here, giving honors to my Supreme Grand Commander, Aleem El Day, to our Grand Master, Brother Abdullah, and all of the brothers of the flagship, all the sailors, Sea Stars of the Order of Moorish Star, and to your audience, everybody who is subscribed, who likes, who shares, who donates, right, to NYP Talk Show, as it is a venue. I think when we look back on this some years, we're going to see those seeds. And I just pray your brother's prosperity, success, and
Thank you, brother.
And just forward momentum as you brothers are doing. My brother Akhet, born 1980, born and raised, grew up in Gowanus houses, Gowanus projects, Brooklyn, New York, right downtown. As was said, everybody's journey is a little different. We all come different ways, and I'll try to give mine in a quick, 2-3 minutes. But I did grow up on Gowanus houses. My upbringing was more, so I grew up Pentecostal Christian. I grew up, with grandmother, grandfather, grandmother who was in the church, church mother, in there multiple times a week for different services. She's there Saturday, getting ready for Sunday. So my upbringing came up through the Pentecostal Christianity, and I went through all of the ups and downs of that. Getting saved and trying to live a holy life, and having my own ups and downs as a teenager. Coming into my adult years. So my journey was, and at that time, 80s going into 90s, going into teenage years, I went out to Beach Channel High School, which, living downtown Brooklyn, going all the way out to Far Rockaway was an experience. I thought I was getting something different. And I didn't realize at the time in my naivety that it's projects and hoods everywhere. You're just going into somebody else's hood. So, but I had that experience, graduated Beach Channel in 1998. And my upbringing, beloved, was, like a lot of people, grew up in a lot of violence, a lot of, it was, late 80s, early 90s, crack hit. It was crazy. My upbringing, I tell people all the time, as a youth, out in a little park, playing baseball because we couldn't roam around the projects because it was too dangerous. One of my early memories is, running back to the buildings after shootouts, and it was just a crazy time. So my upbringing more was trying to, live, trying to get to 18, you know what I mean? Trying to, like my mom always said, you could get to 18, get a job. I know you could take care of yourself. So my upbringing came up through the church, and I think my introduction to the knowledge came a little bit later as I was coming into manhood, early 20s. I had a lot of things going on. My grandmother died at that time, and I got a little disconnected with my faith, disconnected with the church, and I was a real believer. So as I was an adult and realized that I wasn't going back to the church, I thought I was going to hell. I had that existential moment, where I'm, in myself, like, me as an adult, like, man, I'm going to hell, and that really hit me. And that took me into, why I believe what I believe, got me into Christianity, that got me into the mind, got me into Jesus, the history. And that took me basically a whole spin back to Kemet, and going to Kemet took me basically, I said to myself as a young adult, I feel like I need to know a little bit about everything. So when I came across Freemasonry, I was doing a lot of reading, an avid reader, and I was reading at the time Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Once I read that, it blew my mind. Like, how do people get this knowledge, right? Where does all this come from? And I saw he was an honorary member. Fast forward, as you said, at that time, Dr. York was on the scene. It was a lot of information. It was House of Consciousness. It was just a lot of information every night. You get the debates, and that's why I was introduced, and I ran into a video by Dr. Alim El Bey. And, from there, the brother dropped his number, and I said, let me call. I called, had conversations, told him about who I was, what I was looking for. And that, led me, because I said at that time, I feel like I need to know a little bit of everything. And I saw in Freemasonry, like there was something there, but I needed something that was, one, real, and two, I needed something that was going to fit my spiritual yearning. Because at that time, I didn't just want, something that was just going to be something to have. I needed something that was going to secure my soul, something that was going to give me a faith that I once had in church, but I'm not in church anymore. So how do I find that? So that got me into Buddhism, spirituality, the mind, and all of that culminated, into, I would say, my heart chakra opening, me realizing that, if I really believe that God is everybody and everything, and we are part of that. So how does God reconnect? We reconnect by reconnecting with each other. So as you said, I'm a avid ambassador for the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. I joined in 2012. So this is my 13th year. And as many, has said, I was skeptical. I come from Brooklyn, and we laugh about this all the time, internally. I'm looking at everybody like, I'm waiting to see where it's going wrong, who trying to get me, right? And then, you talk about this Supreme Grand Commander, who is that? You know what I mean? So
That's New York, though.
Yeah. So I'm even in lodge looking at brothers like, ooh, they pull up. This seem real, right? Let me see when it's gonna stop, right? But 13 years later, as Brother Yahoshi said, I put my toes in the water. I was referred by Dr. Aline, and the rest is history. It is as was said, it's a spiritual order, but it's an order based on historical fact. Dealing with the Moors of antiquity, really sailing those seas. And we're talking about real history that you may not always just find on Google or YouTube, or even your local library, or even, the national libraries. There are places that, scholars go where books are, where information is understood. So I say that to say, I connect, with people online. I'm there, as you said, promoting the Moorish Rite, putting the word out there for the Moorish Rite, and really trying to connect with like-minded individuals who are looking for something real and something that's going to put them, whatever their spiritual belief, whatever your religion, whatever your creed, it'll put you in line with a real yearning connection with the Creator through our everyday actions, and that being evidenced through our connections with our brothers. So, you heard us talk about our character is nautical. We're seafarers, we're sailors, and our number one prerogative on anything is unity. So that's what you're going to find different here. This is not a, fly by night. It's not a, we're just trying to get members or we're trying to get out there. No, you know what I mean? We'll do what we got to do regardless. But here it's about a spiritual connection with your Creator. That's the first objective. That's the ultimate objective. And that you get right coming in the door as an Asiatic. So I know I said, a lot, but I hope that, gave a little insight. Also, I'm a father, I'm married, have 2 boys, working in the education field, working to move up in the ranks, so to say, to be a more of an influence, to the kids coming up in the system of education, which is vital for the kids that are there. And it's my way to give back. It's my way to, gain that entry into the beyond, and also, connecting with, like-minded brothers and sisters.
All right. So now, brother, there's a lot of brothers. Hope you brothers come up on the next one so we can get everybody building. Brother Sanchez, I want to build with you for a hot second. Brother Sanchez. Okay. All right. So
this is peace,
Pete.
brethren, peace,
No, you
Mr.
gotta
Mikey, and peace.
cut your mic down.
All right. What about now?
Yeah, if you got it streaming, you got to cut it off. You have it on the computer?
No, sir, not exactly.
All right, so we gotta get brother Sanchez next bill. So brother Gill, okay, brother Gill, can we build with the brother Gill?
Yeah, peace. Apologize for interrupting, but if you want to go back to Brother Sanchez, it was me because Brother Sanchez is here with me. He came to visit, so he's on the other side next to me, and I was listening to the stream on my computer. That's what it was the confusing.
Feedback. All right.
So we were kind of like figuring out, like I'm muted, but it was my audio going through to his mic. So I don't mean to cut off the question, beloved, but I do want to be respectful to Grandmaster Sanchez, and just let him finish. And I'll be happy and it'll be an honor to participate in this conversation. Peace.
Peace. Yeah. All right, brother Sanchez.
All right, sir. Thank you, and thank you for having me here. Thank you for having us here.
You're welcome.
Glad to be here once again, and peace and fraternal greeting to my brethren, and peace and greetings to your audience as well.
Peace and greetings to you, brother. Now, I want to ask you, how long have you been a part of this organization?
Well, I'm also joined on 2013. So it's been a while. I've been with Ancient Free Moorish Rite since then, and you know, um, this old axiom: everything happens for a reason. And
Mm.
I was introduced to Ancient Free Moorish Rite actually for my brother, my grandmaster, Brother Gill, here present with us as well. And that was the beginning of my my path. And since then I've been sailing with brethren.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's deep.
Okay. So now, where are you from exactly? Are you because I know the brother Adir, he's from Houston, right? Where are you from? We got Akhet from Brooklyn.
Well, I hail from New York, but I'm originally from Mexico, sir.
That's
Oh,
dope.
okay. What part of New York?
I'm on Staten Island, New York.
You said what? Sorry.
Staten Island.
Staten
Shaolin.
Island.
Staten Island. Ha,
From
Staten
Shaolin.
Island.
Yes, sir.
Shaolin. All right. Shaolin in the building. All right. So now coming up in Shaolin or Staten Island, what was your upbringing like? Was it like did you come up in Christianity, and things like that? Did you what other teachings?
Well, I was born into a Catholic family, and my history is no different from brethren. As I was looking for more knowledge, more light. But what I saw with my grandmaster, Brother Gill, was something that within the religion is lacking. You know, whether through the religion we learn to become a good men, good people, but there's always something missing. There's always a piece that is being missing. When I had the opportunity to meet my grandmaster, at that time, a great friend of mine. I was going through certain circumstances, and I approached many people, and doors were closed to me. So this great brother, you know, don't even ask. And I was having used barely some time meeting him, and he stepped up. I don't really want. I don't really want to go into the details of that, but you know, having that kind of person, that caliber of person, that can step towards something in aid of someone that is in need, bro, that says much without saying a word, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Beautiful.
So that right there is like I'm hearing the same thing. The character, the brotherhood. Like, okay,
Fraternity
Right.
is the key word. Fraternity.
That's correct.
That's what we lack. I mean, the world lacks. But I'm telling you, it's not only masonry that gives you that. You know what I'm saying? Anyone could be a mason, right? You got to live by it. The fraternity, the oath. You got to be inspired. You got to be careful who's raising you as well. Or they
Well,
practice.
indeed, I believe you got a point in that, Brother Mikey. As you just mentioned, everything can become a Freemason, but it's not just becoming that Freemason. It's live up to that character.
Yeah.
You know, in ancient Free Moorish Rite, we are admonished that Moors to live by the code. You know,
Exactly.
there is a certain structure that we must upstand.
Which that's what make it Moorish. Is that what you're saying?
That's what make me a Moorish Rite sailor. Yes, sir.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
All right. That's peace right there. So now I want to take it to Brother Gill. I know I'm just basically getting a gist of how these brothers come into the teachings. What's the experience like what's the experience like? Because I could be wrong. However, we get all this knowledge and it sounds good. It all sounds great. You could quote degrees and have so many degrees, but what's your character like? Is the teachings actually working for you? That's so key for me right now. And so I just want to know, how is it changing people's lives? You know what I'm saying? So Brother Gill, you could take it away, man. Where you from? How'd you get to the teachings? And how has it changed you?
Peace, brethren.
Peace.
Commander,
Peace,
Brother
sir.
Akhet, Grandmaster Abdullah, brethren, Brother Abdi Noor, Grandmaster Sanchez, Brother Prince, Brother Adir over there, the host, Brother Mikey. Peace, brethren. Thanks for the invitation. I am Brother Gill, and I've been serving in the Moorish Rite for over 15 years. And I am born in Mexico, lived in Los Angeles, California, moved to New York, and basically anchored here. My wife is here, my kids are here now, and um, like my brethren, everything started with a spiritual journey, and I would say that coming into the Moorish Rite, basically, I'm not saying it's the culmination, but it's uh the complementarity of the spiritual journey that I embarked as a child, because doesn't matter the background, Catholic, Christian, Baptist, Buddhist, it doesn't really matter your spiritual background. But if it led you to a school of thought, to this type of spiritual knowledge,
Mm.
we understand that we understood or we felt that we needed something. There was something missing. That bond, that link to the chain that basically put us all in that search. So now, like Brother Akhet, I was making that bridge of connection with Brother Akhet when I was born and raised in a Christian family. So, all that about doing good, being good, fearful of God, the creator. And at the same time, that built my character as let's say, a good person, but also put on me a lot of chains, obstacles, to the way that we see and perceive the world.
Yes, sir.
Because when you come out to the world, to the people, you see and you come across different beliefs, uh criticisms, because either you're criticized or you criticize.
Mm.
You criticize other religions because you're Christian, or you're being criticized because you're not part of the other religions.
Right.
So one way or another, we are, let's say, raised with certain blocks, and that's what kind of like put me on that path of, I say that I believe in God, he believes in God. I am the owner of the truth. He is the owner of the truth. And um to tie that with your question on how did that coming to the Moorish Rite made me, as the man that I am today, is that I understood, that, like Brother Akhet said, when we talk about the creator, it's not it's not a name, it's not a person, it's not a picture, but it's that energy that at the end of the day
Mm.
bonds us together, you know. So when I found that in the Moorish Rite, and it eliminated the obstacle that connected me to the creator, when I understood that it was not the name which you invoke the creator, but the intentions that you put on it.
Come on, bro.
So when I understood that and I learned that, then that kind of like made me the type of open-minded man that I am today. So we can have a conversation about spirituality without mixing it with religion. So like I said, brethren, my journey started with that, in the search of that connection with the creator. um that, brethren, also, like brother Yahoshi mentioned, taught me another um another angle, another point of view of what loyalty, brotherhood, friendship was all about. You can't have one without the other. You can say that you're a brother if you're not a friend. You cannot say that you're a friend if you're not a brother. So now when you come to the Moorish Rite, and from the minute that you put a step in the lodge, you know that you belong to us if you are willing to prove that loyalty to your brother. So it's not, your journey just goes as far as you want to take it. You can either learn how to walk and learn and walk in the lodge, or you can learn how to walk and conduct your life that way.
Come on.
So now I will talk on that with what brother Sanchez mentioned. So when he saw that, it was just me bringing what I learned in the lodge to the people who I considered friends or brothers. So at that point, I saw a brother in need, and I had to step up.
Mm.
So now, one thing that I learned from our um, Grandmaster, Dr. Hazel Bey, the Avatar, is that you can just be as loyal, brethren, as you would like to be treated as you would like to be treated.
There we go.
Treat as you would like to be treated.
Mhm.
So you want loyalty, you gotta prove loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to expand, brethren. Brother Alim said, we always say, like, you just gotta give us 5 minutes and we'll take 5 hours. But brethren, that's a short story of how I came across the Moorish Rite, how the Moorish Rite has worked on me as on my character, and I just trust in the Creator and ask to the Creator that I could be of service, and utility to the craft. Peace and fraternal greetings, brethren.
Peace.
Peace.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.
Now, of course, this podcast goes an hour, right? So, I would definitely love for you brothers to come back up, because there's so much that I want to unpack about this group, if you will. Before we cut out, I just want to get something from brother Abdullah and brother Abdinor. Okay. I want to and let's say we do a podcast again. I would like to have you brothers back up again, and I got some other questions to ask. Brother, I will start with brother Abdullah. How did you get into the teachings, and how long?
Peace. I've been a member of this organization since 2019. It's a part of my journey, my Moorish journey. I came into knowledge of into the Moorish paradigm in about 2014, and like many brethren, wanted to know more about Freemasonry. It's something that had always been in my ear. On my Moorish journey, I learned about the Ancient Free Moorish Rite, and I decided to take the plunge. I reached out to brother Akhet, and he won me over when we spoke on the phone. I can still remember the day. I was at work on a forklift or something like that, and I just pulled the forklift over and just got on. He called me actually. I had reached out and he called me, and I took his call. And I met brethren in Brooklyn. That's where our lodge is, and I've been sailing ever since. So just keep it brief, beloved. Thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
That's
So are
peace.
you from New York?
I live in New Jersey. I'm originally from the DC area. I live in the New York area, but I'm in Jersey.
DC in the building.
That's
Hold on,
peace.
where Brother Cyrus is down there. I can't let you in, Brother Cyrus, because it's just packed. It's a packed
packed.
joint. But I
tell
see
you,
I see you down there, Brother Cyrus. DC, Maryland in the building.
when the Ancient Free Moorish Rite come on this podcast, they come in deep like Wu-Tang. It's like both
Yo,
sides.
I got jumped. I was getting jumped. I
Peace to L Day too, bro.
What am I gonna do now? Brother Abnor, so how did you get into the teachings? Where are you from?
Peace. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace and blessings to the flagship. Yeah.
Come on,
Peace and blessings to my flagship, baby. So, I've been in Cali, Georgia all my life. That's where I'm from. Going back and forth. You know how it is. My Moorish journey, or this is how I look at the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. So imagine, like in your own mind, imagine becoming the man that you always wanted to be, right? Becoming the man you always wanted to be. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about, what does that man look like, right? What does that man smell like, right?
Okay.
How does that man behave?
All right.
What does that man build?
Right.
Come on, brother.
So you have that in your mind's eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you moralize that man. That's what the Ancient Free Moorish Rite is for me, right? So I a lot of my family, I always felt like I was just a natural Mason, right? I always felt like, I just thought, it is what it is. But like my father, he was a Rosicrucian. I got uncles that was Prince Hall, Scottish Rite, all that stuff. So I always wanted real brotherhood. You know what I mean? Sure. And then I go to college and you see the Q Dogs, Omega Sci-Fi, right? And they got the golden boots with all the baddest chicks on campus. You know what I mean? And I'm like, maybe I should be a Q Dog, right? And then, but the problem is, my granddaddy, he was in Alpha Phi Alpha, right? And they got an interesting history. You know what I mean? Jesse Owens, Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, they all alphas. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should be an alpha, right? But that ain't what they used to be. You see what I mean? Things got corrupted. And then, you have the different Masonic rites, and when I was younger, I used to read a lot of Malachi York. You know what I mean? And he had some things in there, with his regalia on. He had some pages on there with his regalia on. It said he was a Moorish Mason.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's what I want right there. You feel me? And it took some time for me to find the Moorish Rite, the Ancient Free Moorish Rite. So I'm a new initiate. I just got initiated this year, and with my in-lodge initiation. So yeah, I'm young. If this whole thing was a ship, if this whole thing was a Jiraiya, a ship, then I'll just be cleaning floors right now, just like I was telling El Day yesterday. I'll be cleaning floors. You know what I mean? Knocking particles off the ship.
He's the apprentice.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on my first degree. You know what I mean? So I'm learning a lot.
Pardon me. So you're saying you're young as in the degrees?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not in age. Exactly. Thank you for that little caveat there. So yeah, so I gotta wrap this up because we running out of time. But one thing I was thinking about when some of the brothers was talking is about cycles, right? So, I always felt like I was a natural born Mason, and that's all about fraternity. And it's interesting because we're all together and we're all here for one cause, which is to give and receive light. That's really the cause here. And you know, it's interesting because when you look at females, right, when they get all together in a group and they spend so much time together, don't they get on the same cycle, right? Don't they like have to go to the store and get their pads at the same time and all that? So
Science,
with us, it's like we kind of get on the same cycle too, but it's a cycle of giving and receiving light. You see what I mean? It's a very dynamic cycle. You see what I mean? So, you know, being in with this rite and being around these great men, you know, it helps me develop myself. You know, like being around El Day or listening to El Day, it helps me develop my genius. You know what I mean? Being around Brother Abdullah, that helps me build my organization skills. You know what I mean? Being around Brother Akhet, that helps me give more wisdom and receive more wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You know what I mean? Being around Brother Prince Yahoshi, you know, that helps me walk and talk with no fear. You know what I'm talking about? Because y'all know Brother Yahoshi, he ain't got no fear in him. You know what I'm talking about?
That's right.
You know, developing my fire, like Brother Gill, maintaining my discipline, like Brother Sanchez. You know what I mean? Leading with love, life, and light, like Brother Adir. You know what I mean? And building my power to manifest, like the brother you won't let in here, Brother Cyrus. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
No, I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. But the point that I'm making is each and every one of us bring a certain vibrational light.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
And
right.
if that's appealing to you, check us out. Peace.
Right. Peace.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, that was beautiful, man. You know,
A lot of science right there.
All the members broke it down, why they join and their experiences. This is what I'm talking about, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew it was something because I'm like, you're a part of this too? You too? Yeah, you like I didn't even know this existed, but you know, of course, I have a lot to learn about this, and so does the audience. I'm just introducing the audience to the group and trying to get an understanding of hopefully you brothers will come back soon, so we can break down some of the teachings as much as you can give to the public.
Well, we can add on to that. They could go back to the older episodes as well too, because there's a lot of information that they dropped on here about that.
Yeah, you know what, brother Ken, we got to build on that because we could give you brothers a what you call it? It's a playlist. So everyone who is a reoccurring guest on the show, they get a playlist on the page, so they can always go back to that and review the videos. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, before we cut out, I would like to say peace to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. And any last words? You know, you had the floor.
Yeah, we'll definitely hear from our L Day closing words, but I definitely want to thank you, the host, thank your audience, thank you for the questions, thank the sailors for being here tonight. And there's much more below the surface. You know, the Ancient Free Moorish Rite is here to stay, and we will continue as you've seen. You know, things just popping up, almost seem out of nowhere, but you know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. So
Nicholas Bey, you too? Oh wow, man, this is crazy, man.
Well, I would say for all the Moorish Rite Masons in the chat, stand up. You know, it's time, and you will see and hear from us more. And we look forward to building bridges of understanding, bridges of camaraderie, of eventual friendship, and as the brother said, eventual brotherhood, because that is ultimately what we're here to do. Is create that brotherhood of men. And more importantly, as was said earlier, it's the application, beloved. It's the application, and it has to be real. It has to be real, especially in this time and age where, you know, literally you can be here today, Brother Ron, and literally gone tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
So our stance is, it's going to be no regrets. We're here to practice what we've been taught as our spiritual practice each and every day. So you'll see us say, you'll see it said on our Facebook groups. For anybody out there, look to see us on Facebook, as well as our website, afmr-moorishrite.org. And you will see we often talk about, and brothers talked about, we raise the sun, each and every day. And that is our charge, and that's what we do. So this is an example of it. These are the brothers, and we're going to continue to let the audience and the world know and show the world, as Dr. Hazel commissioned us to do, show the world what Freemasonry looks like, because the world hasn't seen Freemasonry like this in a long, long, long time. And we look forward to expounding on that and why that is, and why we're even here today able to do this with you. So peace, love, and light, brothers. I'll get to the end.
Well, brother Mikey, brother Ron,
please, Adir.
Back to your time. And what I will say will segue into the next time we do meet. And we look forward to that. So this will give you a broader perspective. Dr. Clifford E. Hazel Bey was also an esteemed member of the Moorish Science Temple at one point. And I too had been in the Moorish Science Temple, as well as the Nation of Islam. So it gives you a perspective on the foundation and the foundation contributors, and also too to commend both of you on your insight. The brethren you see here, these brethren indeed, beginning with Brother Yahoshi, are stars. These brothers are stars. And this is what the Ancient Free Moorish Rite is about. But that perspective will help serve going into the next show. Dr. Hazel had that experience, a STEAM member for years in the Moorish Science Temple.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait. Hey, man. Listen, that was perfect, brother. Brother Aleem El Day is on point. I heard it. So when that first time he started talking, I said, okay.
They sharp. He's sharp, brother. Sharp.
All right.
And I want to say thanks to you brothers for coming out. May the grand architect of the universe watch over all my brothers on here. Say may I sail, sail in peace. Shout outs to C. Hazel Bey.
Sir.
Forever rising. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, man. I just want to say peace to y'all for coming out, for real, man. They'll know more about you guys. And don't forget, Akhet, I'll be there next year, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
On that note,
peace.
Peace.